This is going to be a quick demo of my HDR Sun and Sky add-on for Blender. So currently I have this car render and I'm lighting it with a procedural sky texture that's native to Blender. And as you can see, you can achieve quite nice lighting with that, and you have a lot of control. You can control the height of the sun, so let's make it higher, for example, change the time of day. You can also rotate the sun around the scene and just get really nice results. The problem is that there are no clouds in the sky. And even though the lighting is quite nice, the sky itself is nowhere near photorealistic. And so in order to use this procedural sky texture, you're going to need to combine it with some kind of HDR image and do some compositing. And so this is why I built my add-on, in order to overcome all of these shortcomings. So let me demonstrate how you use it. So once you've installed the add-on, it should be available in your asset browser. So I'm just going to come down to this bottom panel and I'm going to convert it to an asset browser. And there, all I need to do is to go to the drop down to see all of the installed libraries and select the Sun and Sky. From here, I can simply drag and drop the Sun and Sky environment straight into my scene. Now, it looks as if it's come in really dark, but that's simply because the procedural sky that I was using a minute ago is very bright, so I had to adjust the exposure of the scene. So if I come to the render tab and just go down to the bottom, I'm just going to restore my exposure to the default of 1, and straight away you can see we have much more natural looking lighting. And once you've added the Sun and Sky environment to your scene, there is a gizmo in the viewport from which you can control all of the parameters. So I'm just going to zoom out and look for the gizmo. And here it is. It's a giant empty with Sun and Sky controls labeled on it. So let's just select that and then go to the object properties. And in the custom properties, you'll see that there are a number of controls you can change. Now, if this viewport gizmo is in your way at all, you can move and scale it just like any other object in the scene. So be sure to place it somewhere that's convenient for you. In this case, let's just move it down so it's a little bit closer to the car. And maybe scale it down a little bit because it is very large at the moment. And now I can zoom back in and see the gizmo and the car at the same time. So the first thing you might notice is that the clouds are a little bit blurry. And that's because by default, when you load the Sun and Sky into your scene, it uses a very low resolution environment just to enhance performance while you finesse your lighting. But once you've finalized your lighting, you can use this resolution control here to increase the resolution either to 4K or to 16K. But initially, you'll want to keep the resolution at 0 just for the sake of performance. So the first thing I'm going to do is to tweak my lighting to create an attractive shot on the car. So I'm going to lower the sun position. Let's just try 2 to give it a nice sort of early morning effect. Then I'm going to change the sun rotation and let's bring it down to create some nice backlighting. I might increase the sun brightness just to give the image a little bit more pop. And then I can decide on exactly how much cloud cover I want. So this is looking pretty good, but let's just try a couple of variations. Now that is looking really nice. So with that done, let's just increase the resolution to 1. And now, as you can see, we have much sharper clouds in our sky. Now, when you increase the resolution, you can still make tweaks to the lighting. For example, rotating the sun is still going to work perfectly well. It's just that if you change the sun position or the cloud cover, you might get a little bit of a slowdown. Let's just try reducing the cloud cover. You can see that's actually working quite well. Let me just try changing the sun position. And that was responding a little bit more slowly. However, once you've loaded some of the background HDRs into memory, you'll find that performance increases. So I'm just going to tweak my lighting until I'm happy with it. And then when the time comes for a final render, I'm going to increase the resolution to a maximum of 2. And what that's going to do is to ensure that the backplate renders at 16K. So with that done, let's go to render and render image. And that's going to render the image using cycles. And with the render complete, you can see that we now have really beautiful photorealistic clouds in the sky. And you'll never get results anything like this using any kind of procedural sky or cloud system. So I'm just going to dismiss this render window and let's reduce the resolution back down to 512 and just play around with the lighting just so I can show you a few permutations. So I'm going to come down to the sun position control and I'm going to set that to 5 just to place the sun higher in the sky and change the time of day. Then let's rotate the sun around. I might reduce the sun brightness back down to 1. And I'm also going to play with the cloud cover control. And as you can see, I can really fine tune and entirely art direct the time of day and the kind of weather we have in the shot. So let's see what that looks like in better quality. I'm going to increase the resolution to 1, and that's looking really nice. I'll just keep playing with the controls just to try a few different permutations until I get something I like. So here I've got something that's more like dusk, and of course I can go all the way from sunrise or sunset to a harsh midday sun if that's what I want. So this add-on is super useful for any kind of outdoor shot, but it's also really useful for any kind of archviz where you have interiors with windows and you might need to control the time of day. And of course it can also be used in animations or any kind of scene where the sky plays an important part.